World's Finest number 13, written by Paul Levitz, art by Robson Roca. So last issue, Desaad apparently took over Holt Industries, which then absorbed Star Industries, or I should say destroyed them. But then apparently, according to this issue, they did a hostile takeover and bought them out like overnight, which I don't think is a thing. But regardless, we open up at the SEC where some random office worker is being held hostage by Helena and basically said like, all right, tell me where I can find the Star Industries file and why exactly they were able to be hostile takeovered. And then we see Power Girl is just downstairs in like the vaults, more or less, tearing stuff apart, figuring out like, how could this have happened? How could my whole company have been taken from underneath me? Some guards bust in and start shooting at her, and she's like, this doesn't affect me. I'm just going to keep looking. And so she uses her X-ray vision and sees through one of the vault walls the file sitting on a desk. So she busts through the wall, grabs it, and then just yeets right up to where Helena is. And the woman that she's interrogating has now gone catatonic, just saying like, Master says no, Master says I can't. And she's like, what happened to her? And Helena says, oh, well, as soon as I said Desaad, she just turned into this, so she's useless. So at that point, they hear a grumbling noise outside, and in busts through the wall this giant hellhound. And it comes in and starts attacking them, and Power Girl punches it in the face, and it's a stupid girl, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's sentient. Well, we still got to beat it up anyway. None of Helena's arrows are doing the trick, so she fires off an explosive arrow into its mouth, long enough for Power Girl to pick her up and fly them away to safety. So then we go to Desaad, where someone named Kubu, who I feel like I'm supposed to recognize, but I don't, is being tortured. And just like, it's the dog is destroying your laboratory, Kubu, because of how you failed Desaad. And it's like, oh, Master, I didn't know that Power Girl or Karen Starr was powerful, or all that stuff. And it's like, oh, no, if you had known, your torture would be much worse. And instead, I'll just have you die. And so he kills Kubu. And then he goes into like a computer room where he's talking to all of his operatives saying, have you found the ones that I seek? And they're like, no, we're still looking. So we're in Alexandria, Virginia, where Helena has a safe house, and it's like super old and stuffy, and Karen calls it out for being as such, and she's like, yeah, this is just like your dad's house. Everything in there was like 5 generations old. And she's like, I think it's cozy. And she's like, well, agree to disagree, I guess. So at that point, the hellhound busts through the wall again without them noticing. And just like, Christ, how did he find us so fast? All right, look, we got to figure out a way to beat this thing now. So they start fighting it again. It's like, oh, I'm stronger than you, girl. And Power Girl just punches in the face and says, shut up. So Helena throws some grenades in its mouth, hoping that will do the trick. Instead, it just continues to fight Power Girl down the street of this small Virginia suburb. So then we meet a guy named Marbury, who's talking to Desaad, is under his control. Again, feel like I'm supposed to recognize Marbury, but I don't. And Desaad's basically like, hey, Marbury, look, here's the thing. You served me. You've done a good job. I'm going to reward you. And Marbury's like, oh, thank you, Master. And he's put into this super painful transformation machine. And Desaad's like, here's the thing. Because of the things that Power Girl stole from Holt Industry, I think she knows how to, or that she is at least from an alternate world, and she may have reason to get back. I need you to figure that out because I have been trapped on this earth for too long. So go out there and get it. And Marbury turns from just this normal lanky-ass guy into this huge hulking monster. And it's like, Marbury will not fail, Master. So the dog is destroying downtown. Police come driving in. They immediately get hit away. And Helena's just like, yeah, that tracks. And then she remembers her dad saying, like, whenever you've got a bigger enemy, use the environment to your advantage. So she sees some electrical wires and like a power grid and all that. So Power Girl's fighting against the dog some more. And apparently its name is Sniffer, which is just the most adorable name for this giant hellhound. And Helena calls over to Power Girl saying, hey, bring him over here and I'll take care of them, but I need you to like wrap them up. And she's like, oh, okay, I see what you're getting for. So she takes some power cords, wraps it around Sniffer, and Helena uses the power cord and one of her arrows to basically overshock Sniffer, so he's fried more or less. And Power Girl's like, I don't get it. How were you able to shock him, but I wasn't able to like beat him back? Am I getting weaker on this planet? And Helena's like, I hope not, because if so, Desaad's about to send even bigger things, and we need you at full strength. So yeah, that's where it ends. It kind of just ends. Like there is no fade out, like go to credits thing. It's just well, we're gonna have bigger monsters showing up. So yeah. It's fine. It's an okay issue. I mean, after last issue where it promised this whole thing of we're going underground and we're gonna fight against Desaad, I guess I kind of envisioned it being more active, if that makes sense. This feels very passive, where they're just waiting for Desaad to come after them. And then they're like clearing up the red tape of how did Star Industries get absorbed. Like, I wasn't wondering about that. I just assumed after last issue it was destroyed in its entirety and its market cap was essentially erased. But no, they had to specifically say like, but it was bought out because gotta wonder about the capitalist stuff. So yeah, it's a fine issue. I just kind of wish that it was more active rather than they're just sitting there waiting for Desaad to attack again. So I'll give this one I give it a 6.5. It's not awful. Like, there's no part of this that I'm angry with. It's just not what I expected nor wanted. It's something else. And that's not inherently bad. It's just not what I want. So 6.5.